So hi again, and in this video I'm going to be I'm going to speak about the service that is called event service in my design. So if you remember this picture, so we're going to be focusing on this part, this microservice that ingests the events coming from the mobile application and just sends them, forwards them to Kafka. So this project is it can be found on the GitHub. It's github.com artyomkv kaboom -events-service, and well, you can find it there. So I'm going to just be going through the most important parts of this solution, because if you're more interested, you can go and just check out the code. So I have that open in my Visual Studio Code. And well, this is the basically Node.js application. So I'm using the Connect module, so I'm not going to. I'm not using here the Express. It's just very basic. Well, I felt that Express really doesn't add much to this service because it's just so simple. So so I'm using well, several types of middleware to handle requests. I have the health endpoint that just basically returns 200 OK, and that's used by my load balancer to determine the health status of the service. I have a stats endpoint that just tells me some statistics on how many requests that service have processed so far and so on. The most important part here is this event endpoint, and that's event endpoint that's going to be used for actually posting the events from the mobile application about the application launches and crashes. So I have I have it explained in the README file. So basically there are fields that event has. So the T counts for type, and S it means application starts, C it means application crashes, we have A for application code, U for user ID, and so on. So why the small letters? Because I just wanted to save every possible byte that I'm sending over the wire, so that's the messages as short as possible. So, and these are examples of the events that I'm sending. So for the launch event, it's basically just application code and the user generated unique identifier, unique identifier that identifies the user, date from the client, and then for crash event I got extra fields. This is a message, it says hello exception, and here is the base64 encoded stack trace of that exception. So let's look at the event controller. So this is the controller that handles this request to event endpoint. So it's pretty simple. It has it just checks that the request method is post. So it only allows you to use post method to post your events. And it checks that the content is in the format JSON. And it reads JSON stream, converts it into the event. And here we do a couple of things. So it's really minimal processing that we do here. We just validate the event. The validation is really minimal. We want to make sure that we have a type so we can distinguish between start event and crash events. And we need an application code. That's basically all we verify at this point. So everything else is going to be validated. At the moment we already calculating the statistics. So if you post some events that's past this simple validation, but they still, so like you submit an event for the application code that doesn't exist, those events will be thrown away later at the moment we calculate the statistics. So this is all done just because we want this service to be as fast as possible to just submit the event to Kafka and return. So yeah, so I'm going to determine based on this, T value of the T properties, which is type, I'm going to determine which topic I'm going to send this event to. So I'm using crash events topic or launch events topic in Kafka. Once I determine that, I'm actually getting an application ID, which is basically I'm just reading the value of this A property, and having that I'm calling the Kafka connector produce method, and I submit the event type, application ID, and the event which I just convert back to a string. And basically then I just finish the request and update my statistics for that request so that I can see how many times this event this endpoint was called. So in the Kafka connector, again, it's rather simple. I'm just using this node-rd Kafka npm package. It's official package to use with Node.js to submit events to Kafka. And so here I'm using this event type, which is a start event, a crash event. So I'm using it as for the name of the topic. So this is how I define which topic I'm going to put the message to. I'm not submitting anything for the partition. I'm using the key, which is the application code for partitioning. And yeah, this is the message itself that I'm just sending to Kafka. So pretty easy. Yeah, the rest you can check it out, what I've done in this solution. One thing though I want to mention as well is that if we look, there is a Docker file here. So this service is delivered as a Docker container. So to automate this, I added some npm scripts in my package JSON. So I have this Docker build script here that just builds the Docker container, and I have Docker push, which pushes the Docker container to the Docker hub. And since I'm building this project with the Circle CI, so I have the Circle CI integration. In Circle CI, I have these steps that so first trigger the building of the Docker container, and the second are actually using that npm script that I've just shown to push the this build Docker container to Docker hub. So every time I commit to the master branch, the Circle CI builds this project, runs the tests, and creates Docker container and submits it to the Docker hub. So I just need to check into master, and I get a new version of this service available at the Docker hub. So I just can pull it from the Docker hub and update my production. So I think that's all I wanted to show about this project. So stay tuned, and hope I will see you next video. So bye.